Hi, good morning. Welcome again to Let's Get Working. Today we have George with us, who's a chartered accountant. He's been doing his job for about 20 years, and he's here with me today to talk about budgeting. And so I have a few questions for George that he's happy to answer. So I say, let's begin. Welcome, George.
Hi,
Nice
Martha.
to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me along today.
Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure. It really is my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, George, what are the financial gains of working as opposed to being on a pension?
Well, there's lots of financial gains. There's quite a number of them, and they go into monetary as well as non-monetary gains. And it's important that we sort of cover both of those areas, because some people think, oh, it's just all about money. And it's not really about money. It's really about, having a balanced life and having money to go with it.
Absolutely.
So I jotted down some points that I thought we could cover in a little bit more detail. One of the first things, and again, I don't want to talk about the money straight up, so we'll talk about some of the non-money things.
Yeah.
Time management, it helps us both in managing our personal life as well as our work life. If we've got a plan or something to do, we've got to plan our time for the day. So it actually helps us to achieve that, which we couldn't do if we didn't have a job or a place to go and work. The second thing is that it actually allows us to be part of a team. Most of us like to be part of a team, whether it's a sporting team or some big project that we're working on together, whether it's at work or whether it's in a community project. And working as part of a team is a great thing, because you feel like you have a sense of place, a sense of worth. And with a job, you become part of a team. It doesn't matter whether you're working for a very small firm or a very large business. You are a part of a team, and you are normally a very valued part of the team, which is why you're there.
Yes.
So that's an important point. Making new friends as well in the workplace, again, adds to that balance.
Yes.
So it's important to increase your social network, and working again in any capacity, whether it's just in a very small, in a minor role, just in a very part-time role, or whether it's in a full-time capacity. You get to mix with other people.
Yes.
Some businesses have their own sporting teams that you can become a part of as well. So that adds to that network and that social aspect of going to work.
Yes.
And feeling part of a team. It also starts us, having a job starts us on that journey to, creating some sort of independence for ourselves. It gives us an income where we can start to achieve some things in life. We all have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And we normally start on very low rates of pay, but it's a matter of managing that income that you do have from working, so that you can eventually build up a bit more of an income to achieve some of the things that you really want to achieve.
Yep. Well, sounds good so far.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Love to. Leads to job promotions as well.
Yes.
As you start to work, in your first position, it's normally a low-grade position, and as you start to show some initiative and you do the things that you are asked to do well, you will be given a promotion, and that adds to self-worth and dignity and all those things as well.
Yep.
That helps us build a long-term career in employment. The other thing that it does is it gives us a sense of purpose, to get up in the morning, which is most important. We all need something to do. It doesn't matter what sort of work you do, whether it's paid or unpaid. It gives you a sense of getting up and wanting to do something, and adding value to the community or to the person or the people you're working for.
Yeah.
And lastly, it actually gives a large degree of independence to not only to yourself, but if you're coming from a disability background and you get a part-time position, it allows your carers that have been looking after you to actually become a little bit more independent themselves, so that they can get on with their lives. And even a small degree of that independence for them is a big thing. So it's actually not only solving an independence issue for the person that's looking for employment, but also for the people that have been caring for that person. And that's something that is normally overlooked,
Yes.
because it means that those carers and those people, normally the parents and relatives of those people, can actually get on and actually work for themselves and achieve some sort of independence for themselves that otherwise couldn't happen.
Yep.
So
Cool.
that's a very important aspect.
Yes. Awesome. So, okay, at what point will a person lose their pension once they start working?
Okay, generally speaking, someone who is between 16 and 21 years of age would be earning in the order of about $700 a fortnight on the disability pension. And they would start to lose some of that pension when they start earning more than $150 per fortnight.
Okay.
So that means that you could actually earn up to $150 per fortnight working part-time, which is probably realistically maybe half a day or a day a week, you know, depending if you're a junior or an adult person on DSP.
Okay.
And once you start earning more than $150 a week, it drops by 50, so your pension starts to drop by 50 cents in the dollar
Okay.
on the excess over 150. So if I can give you an example, Martha, if we
Yeah.
have someone that is earning, let's say, $300 a fortnight,
Uh-huh.
that means that the first 150, it doesn't count because
Right.
it's exempt and it doesn't affect their pension. But the other 150 does. So because it'll drop by 50 cents in the dollar, basically they'll drop $75 off their pension in the fortnight.
Yep.
But they've actually made $75 more by working.
Yes.
So you are actually better off.
Yes.
And obviously the more you work, the greater the amount of income that you earn.
Okay.
We must remember also that someone who is 16 to 21 years of age is generally earning around about $18,000 a year on the disability pension,
Okay.
which is not a great deal of money,
No,
as you
it's
know,
not. Yep.
particularly in this day and age. So any income that you can earn above that is obviously going to be a financial benefit to you. And the same thing applies to adult rates of pay. So again, same principle.
Okay. And also when you start working, there's about 100 points or 1,000 points that you don't lose your pension straight away if you earn over that money. You get to use up the points. And it takes quite a couple of weeks. So you get your full pension plus your wage for a while.
I believe so.
Yeah. Until you lose all your points, and then so it's quite good in that you can kind of use that padding to set yourself up with work clothes and whatever you might need
All those important
to go
things.
to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, how can people set future financial goals?
Well, the best place to start is when we're talking about money and financial aspects of your life, it's best to start with a budget.
Okay.
And I find as an accountant, that's the best thing that I can give, that's the best advice I can give clients, and anyone for that matter. I've used budgets myself personally from a very young age, and I believe everyone should.
Okay.
And unless you start to put that down on paper,
Yeah.
you're not going to achieve some of those financial goals that you really want to
No.
achieve.
So, what would you put in a budget?
Well, I'll cover that in more detail in a moment. And there's
Okay.
some budgeting tools that we can use for that process.
Yep.
But generally speaking, I mean, we start with the simple things, you know, and right through to the much more complex things that we need. You know, simple things like how much do you spend on a daily basis
Okay.
on buying your lunch, for example, or buying that cup of coffee. How much you put in your car for fuel each week. You know, how much you spend on groceries. How much you spend on healthcare, how much you spend for your rent or your mortgage. All of those things must go into the budget.
Yes.
And there's if you look on the internet, there's a bunch of different budgeting tools that you can access that gives you all that detail. And you don't have to be an accountant to access those.
Okay.
You know, it is very simple. It's
Yeah.
a process of just filling in the boxes of how much you think you're spending on a daily basis or weekly basis in each of those areas. And the whole idea of budgeting is so that you not only cover your expenditure, but hopefully that you can save a few dollars at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, why we try and budget, so that you put some money away for a rainy day. And I can actually direct you to, there's a great website that ASIC have put out.
Okay.
It's, if you Google Money Smart, it's put out by the Taxation Office and the Australian Securities Commission, and it's a fairly simple budgeting tool, but yet quite complex if you want it to be.
Right.
Where you start with your after-tax earnings, you put those in at the beginning, and then it takes you and leads you through each of the components of the budget that you need to complete, from your living expenses to your car expenses and entertainment and all those sort of things, so that you're covering all of the bases. I spent a little bit of time on it in the last couple of weeks, and it's a great tool. It really is, and it's about time that the government has actually put something like that available, freely available, on the web for everyone to access.
That's great. And so I'll be writing down the web link on the net.
Yes, I can give you that. Yep.
That'd be great. I'll put it on the blog for everyone to use. Yep. Thanks, George.
My pleasure.